All right. Cool. What's going on? Hopefully everybody's having a great day. Welcome, 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 Seeker of the Unknown. Oh, what a crazy, crazy week it's been, right? Long work week. Uh, everybody's winding down, trying to anyway. I cannot hear anything in my headphones. It's crazy. Okay. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Seems like a bunch of stuff has just been really messed up lately on here. I had to reset up everything on here because it was not allowing me to do so. It was not allowing me to connect. Now it's saying that I got to reconnect my accounts because they are needing an update soon. So if you are seeing this and you are watching it and you are on Facebook on the Seeker of the Unknown account, drop a like. Let me know, because I think it's on there. The only one that's not allowing me to get on is my account to comment and the X account. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I'm gonna shoot a comment. If you guys are there, say, hey, how's it going? Just let me know that you're here, and we'll get this thing going. But yeah, welcome. Episode 53. Man, it is going by so quick. And a lot of discussion on a lot of topics, a lot of things over the past year and a half. Had really good conversations with some people this week. Had some really good conversations with some people over the phone about a couple subjects that we're going to be talking about today. One of the things that I wanted to get into was because we were talking about the topic of time shifts. What my thoughts are on time not being what we've been told it is. A lot of people say, well, they've told us it's 2025, but really the year doesn't line up with the historical narrative of the calendar years. From ancient times, there was a reset, and they pushed the narrative of a timeline that they're saying is not, there's a lot of theories that are coming out about it not lining up or jiving with what we are actually truly in. Not only that, but we see that a lot of people throughout history talk about, or who talk about history, say, well, this man-made or this civilization of this time, a narrative of putting caps on things where people are not supposed to be ahead of the timeline. I know last time we were talking about Tartaria, and I talk about this a lot because it's really interesting, because the technological advancements that they had back in the time is really mind-blowing. To think that it's like steampunk. It's like a steampunk world where they had all these machines and they had all these technologies that were really advanced, that they're saying, well, we shouldn't have had this stuff, or there was no possibility that they should have been able to have these things. But we are finding out that the narrative that we've been told is a lie. I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened in the past that people who are scientists, people who are engineers, people who are, what do you call it? entrepreneurs or people who had money or billionaires that were funding these small businesses to advance this technology, and then we find it just gets wiped out by these corporate industries who end up getting rid of these people personally in these so-called accidents or these so-called tragic events that are somehow just random. And you know, for one that I talked about was John Jacob Astor IV. I mean, that man was a billionaire. He would be considered a billionaire, one of the wealthiest men of his time back in the 1800s, who was tragically killed on the Titanic when it sank. And one thing that he has in common with the other people who tragically died, I think there was like 2 other people who were on the Titanic. That one thing he had in common was that he did not want to go along with these guys like J.P. Morgan, these big wealthy bankers and these wealthy associates who were wanting this centralized banking and wanting to make these corporations that were going to monopolize these industries in order to pretty much just take control over everything. Thomas Edison, you know, the guy, you know, ran Nikola Tesla into the ground. I mean, you know, he pretty much stole and covered up a lot of his creations and the things that he brought forth to the industry as far as, you know, free energy and technology that was going to advance human civilization as we know it. And we see that this happened around a time when all of this technologically advanced society on the earth was doing these things that we can't even do now, or that we're trying to duplicate and trying to say, oh, well, this is new stuff. Oh, this is, you know, this is the latest thing in robotics, you know, but they were doing it back then. And one thing that I've said before when I talked on one of the episodes is, you know, we have this big leap and bound in technology since the 40s and 50s. And yet we are still driving around fossil fueled vehicles. You know, people don't see that correlation between the two, that the big problem there. And Dr. Stephen Greer, in his documentary, if you have not looked at or have not seen or do not know of Dr. Stephen Greer, I really highly suggest that you look him up. He is the man, the myth, the legend. This man is the one who has started me, that got me into starting on my path on this, looking into these theories that have really shaped and fundamentally just led people down these rabbit holes of looking and seeking into what in the hell is really going on, like what has been hidden from humanity, and why are these people hiding and keeping and suppressing this knowledge and this information from us, and how long they've been doing it. Look at his documentaries. I mean, SETI, or a serious documentary that he did, was one of the first ones. He had an Unacknowledged, was the one that really jump-started me into looking into this whole thing about 3-4 years ago, like deeper. I mean, I've always been interested in it, but it was like, holy crap, like it really started hitting me after I seen that. And he has a few others, 3 more, I think, that are after that. But the recent one, I think, was the one that came out like a year or 2 ago, was Lost Century. And what he talks about is the suppression of technologies that would greatly advance human society within a time period of the 100 years that have been lost to these monopolizing industries, these secret shadow government. They're not even government. They're businesses that are running things behind the scenes that control the industry, as far as our technologies, our medicine, our education system, our food. And they are the ones who are keeping this keeping it under lock and key, because they are making money off of everybody. They are making money off of all of this. Why would you give up something that is going to help people, that is going to be free, that you cannot charge people for because they can just harness it from the earth? The ether, the force field that is around us all, that is inherently everybody's. And Nikola Tesla was saying, I do not want to do this. This is not for me to make money. I need money to, revolutionize and build these machines. I need the help to build this stuff in order to advance and show people how this is done. But this is stuff that is here for all of us, and this is why I'm doing this. And it seems like, there was a clip I had posted where this Western family was walking down this town, and this guy's selling washing machines and refrigerators, and he's selling stoves and this and that, and he's like trying to sell these people on this stuff, and the guy's like, why do we need this? And he's like, well, it's to make your life easier, so that way you can do other things, so that way you're not having to sit there and wash your laundry in a bucket, scrub it and hang it up, and get your clothes clean. That way you can have a machine that'll do it for you. And he's like, well, it sounds like a bunch of horse crap to me. He goes, it's just, to take my money and give it to you to make you richer. And the guy looked at him, was like stunned, like, what the heck? And he's like, the cowboy was just asking him, like, why would I want to give my money to you when I could just do this stuff and keep my money? You know what I mean? And that was the fact of the matter. And that's the realization of looking at it, is that we have gone from growing our own food. We have gone to being self-sustained, to being reliant on these stores, companies for electricity, water, food, gas, vehicles. Now we have to have vehicles, right? We got to pay for gas and oil and all this other crap that is hindering us from advancing, because all it's doing is keeping us under the thumb or under the heel of these people who are making the money off of this. And I think it was like a month ago, one of the White House press secretaries came out, and he blatantly said it in front of everybody, was like, the technology is here. We have the technology to do all of this stuff. We can get rid of all of this fossil fuel crap, be done with it, gone, never again. We can live, pretty much what he was saying is, we can live in the future. The only reason why we cannot do this is because the corporations that are making money off of this are not going to release their hold, because they do not want to lose out on their money. They're making too much money. They're making too much money on all this stuff, medication, everything, health issues. They have the cures for this stuff. But why would you sit here and heal everybody and then nobody be sick if you're not going to make money? The money is the problem. The money and the greed and the wars are what are keeping everybody enslaved. Not just wholly, but it's part of it. If we don't have wars, we can't fuel the military industry, the military industrial complex. You don't have companies like Boeing, Lockheed and Martin, BlackRock, all these other corporations that are making money off of building these military vehicles and these weapon systems and these technologically advanced things that are putting us in the need for them by going to war. you have medicine. I mean, you've got doctors who have literally come out and said there are cures for all of this stuff. They keep us sick. They poison us. They give us shots and injections that are not meant for us. Our bodies are not meant to be, inoculized the way they are. Our body can sustain itself and heal itself. It's just that they want to make money off of it, because if they make everybody healthy, they're not going to be freaking reliant on them. There's no need for them to have to go to the doctors, to pay for health insurance, to have to pay for medication when you can get it for free and make your stuff holistically and live life long. The industry has taken over for a while now. And people who are whistleblowers, who have come out and spoke on this stuff, who have openly said all of this and have tried to warn people and tried to tell people, look, listen, you need to open up your eyes. Like, this one world order, this one world reliant idea is a setup to put us in a hold, and we need to realize what is going on. So a lot of people have been taken out. A lot of people have been silenced. A lot of people have been unalived, like Dr. Stephen Greer says. He's had friends that have been unalived that he knows, that he has met since his journey on this. And this man, I give him credit, because he has literally spearheaded this whistleblowing movement since the late 80s, early 90s. And I really highly suggest that if you do not know who he is or have not heard of him, that you go check him out and look into his stuff. So with that, I'm going to jump into our intro. We're going to go ahead and do that, and then I will be back and we'll kick it off some more. All right, we are back. All right, so like I said, I wanted to talk about this because, we see all of this technology and we're so enthralled with it, and we're just mesmerized by everything that we have and the advancements that we have. But it's like looking back at the past. Here we are, the 21st century, we're sitting here doing all of this stuff, but yet we are still reliant on the oil industry, fossil fuels, and we are still harnessing energy through those resources. Electric cars are not going to sit there and fuel them, recharge themselves based on what they're doing now. The technology has been around since the 1800s. It's nothing new. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, John Jacob Astor, in his book, A Journey to Other Worlds, talks about this, highly talks about this, tells you how to build a rechargeable battery. And it needs to be charged every 3 days. How they would hook it up and how they would charge it while they were on the street driving their vehicles around. And he talks about, the rockets that you will use this propulsion system to travel to other worlds. And he names this fuel, and he had actually funded a scientist who was building this technology at the time and was working on this system. And that blew me away, because I'm thinking, okay, well, if they had this advancement then, and they were capable of doing this then, they knew of the solution to do these things, they had engineers who were working on these solutions back then, what happened? Why did we jump back? Why did we just stay put? And a lot of people don't question that, but when you look deep into it, you see what is really behind all of this stuff. And that's what I was talking about, the timelines, as far as the technology goes, of why we have not advanced, and why you see a lot of these things being pushed by these government officials, by these government agencies, by these stockholders who are making money off of this stuff. And literally, that is what it comes down to. Because, I mean, if we wanted to have peace, we could push it. I am all for the building up of our military, because we have to protect our home. We have to protect our citizens. We have to protect our homeland. But if you're going to sit here and talk about creating peace in the world and be a promoter of peace, then why are you supporting other countries and funding their wars? That makes no sense to me. A person who wishes for war is a person who has never seen it, faced it, tasted it, or experienced it. A person who longs for peace is a person who has experienced it, tasted it, and dealt with it. And you can see those two types of people when you look at these people pushing for these war agendas. They've never experienced it. They don't give a shit. They'd rather have our sons and daughters go to war, because they're not going to have to, these rich people aren't going to have to, deal with that. It's easy for them to say, yeah, let's do this because we're going to make money off of it. Let's do this. Let's push for that, because now we can put, get more money into our military budgeting, and now our stocks are going to go up, because now they're going to get funding, and we're going to buy stocks and get monopoly in this stuff. That's the way it's been going for a long time. General Eisenhower warned about this. JFK warned about this. And here we are. We have become slaves to this false freedom, slaves to this false security, under the guise of us living in a world that is free, when we are not. We are just slaves to the system. We have become enthralled in what we live and see with our eyes, because of these people who say, well, this is how it is. And people believe it. They think that that's the reality, and it is not. We have become slaves to this matrix of a false reality. There is true reality of freedom, of peace, that is able to be attained, but they don't want it. They could do it, but they haven't. All it is a bunch of talk, because the people who are really running, who are really in control, who are really behind what is happening now, are calling the shots, and they don't want it. Until it is removed, abolished, torn down, gone, obliterated, it is never going to change. We have gone from a people who were in power and who ran the government and told them this is what we are going to do. But that was before the Civil War. After the Civil War, it became a whole different story. We no longer had control. We no longer became a country. We became an industry, a business. The United States of America was gone. It is not what it used to be. It is not what we are historically told since it was founded. And probably not even then was it meant to be this way. The founding fathers did not believe in democracy. They did not want that. They wanted a government that was controlled by the people, for the people. They wanted people to run it. They wanted people to be in control, because they knew that if the government was given the power, they're going to be in the same spot they were in when they fought Great Britain. And here we are. We're a baby country. We're not even 300 years old yet, and we have literally enslaved ourselves to the system that these men and women died to get us out of. And a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think, oh, well, we do have a true democracy. We do have true freedom. We do have the ability to sustain peace and be a great nation. Yes, we do. But are we? No, it is not what people think it is. And the false sense of what is going on is the illusion to allow people to continue about their daily lives and keep going and building this false sense of reality in order for people to continue working and doing things that they are supposed to do because the machine would break down. If tomorrow the truth came out and the reality of what has been happening hits the fan, I mean, if we knew what if we knew what was really happening, like it was thrown out there, somebody was like, the shit just stopped. And the reality of all of the things that have been hidden from us, the lies, the deception, the truth about us not being alone in the universe, and these beings actually showed themselves to us. If the true harnessment of medical capabilities came out and somebody just slapped everybody in the face with it and gave you proof and evidence of it, and the industries of fossil fuels and the oil industries were to stop and cease because it was always a lie, and we find out that everything that we've learned throughout our school education was a lie, the world would go in chaos. We see things, tidbits that people are seeing that are being given to us. I mean, fuck sakes, look at the pyramids. I keep harping on this. These complexes that have been here for thousands, maybe 1 million years, they're saying. Who built them? Where did they go? And if they did leave, are they coming back? Are they here? These things didn't just build themselves. These fucking beings, people, whatever they are, were smarter or more technologically advanced. And if they are that smart and they are more technologically advanced, that we cannot duplicate any of this stuff today. People are so worried about, oh, well, they're just going to come and they're going to that is the deception key, is that they are building a fear base to say, well, these beings are going to come and destroy us. They're going to attack us. They are a threat. They are going to annihilate us. We need to have a ready stance because if something happens, they are going to come here and obliterate us and kill us. If these beings are already way beyond us, okay, they're light years ahead of us in advancements, what is to stop them from just obliterating us if they wanted to? What is to stop them from annihilating everybody anytime they wanted? We're not going to stop them because we don't have the technology to do it, even if we tried. A lot of whistleblowers state that there has been an agreement between these galactic federations of nations that are not just within our solar system, but within outer galaxies outside of our solar system that have, it's basically like they state, it's just like fucking Star Wars. There's beings that are from all over the place and they meet in this galactic federation and they just, they liberate on, shit that's happening. What's going on? What's bad? What's good? What they need to stop, what they need to change. What are they doing that's wrong? What is hurting the universe? And I've said it before in one of the episodes where the being that came here, they called him Thor. It's just like in the movie, the Day the Earth Stood Still. That's where they got this movie from. There's pictures of this man in the White House, meeting with the president, sitting in on these briefings, because he was sent here to guide us and show us and direct us because of our nuclear capabilities. We discovered something that sent shockwaves, a vibration, a frequency out into the universe, into the galaxy, that said, oh shit, something's changed. This baby planet has found this advancement, and they're not ready for it because they are now harnessing a power that has become deadly, and they are using it as a destructive force. So he was sent here to warn us and to try and guide us and keep us on a path that was not going to annihilate the planet. Unfortunately, we have just kind of bounced around that. But apparently, according to these files, this being is still here. He lives here. And there are whistleblowers who have validated this, that have come out and said this, that he looks exactly the same way as he did. His body, because of his aging, is not as fast as ours, but he is aging, just not as quickly as we do. It is so weird to think that this stuff is really going on. The movie that I always refer back to is that movie with Roddy Piper, They Live, the John Carpenter movie that came out in the 80s. That is the world that we are living in, literally. I posted a video online that was talking about the CIA director at the time who was working for PSYOPs, that was giving President George W. Bush Sr., the dad, in the 90s, she was giving him a briefing, directing him and talking to him about these CIA operations and about how they could disguise themselves to look like anybody in the room and nobody would know. She's talking to literally this far away from the president. There's videos of it, there's pictures of it. You can go online and check it out. She's giving him this briefing, and he's like, "Oh, is this real? Are we able to do this?" She says, "Yes, we are doing it now. We've had this technology to replicate masks and disguises that are so realistic that we could go anywhere and deceive anybody at any time. Voice changing phenomena, the stuff that you see on Mission Impossible, that shit is real. It's real." And she takes the mask off of her face and is laughing and holding up this mask, and the president's looking at her, and he says, "The meeting's over." That was it. He was so shocked, upset, and appalled by what she had done. He ended the meeting, and literally after that meeting had happened, it is said that he called for his directors and had a cabinet meeting. But we see this stuff happening where people are posting pictures of these like pictures of President Biden, of Joe Biden, with this line on his neck or this stuff on the back of his neck. It looks like a line from a mask. Are we really seeing? Even Madea. There was pictures of the Madea. What's his name that plays Madea? He's sitting there at the Oscars or something, and there's a mask line on his eyes, like they had forgot to seal it, like he was wearing a face. Are we living in a simulated reality where things are being just disguised? We see them because that is what they are showing us. They are projecting this stuff to us. We now know from scientists that we are literally capable of living in a program. This world that we are living in could literally be nothing but a computer simulation. Zeros and ones. Fucking Matrix. Truman Show. We live in our world, we go and we drive around here and there, but we don't know the scope of everything. We are only told what they give us. We only know what they show us. We are only aware of our history based on what they have said, not what is real. We do not have 100% certainty that everything that we know is true. That in and of itself is scary. But there is hope at the end of this, because if you educate yourself and you read and you study and you look into this stuff, you look into these programs, you look into the FBI declassification projects. If you look at people who have done this research and you look at the information that they're putting out and you follow it and you read up on it, the best thing for people to do is to become knowledgeable, to read, to understand what the hell is happening to us, what they are doing, what they are planning, so that way you can better educate yourself and be prepared to not just go along with the narrative, not just go along with what they are saying and what they are telling us. I'm not telling people to live in fear. I'm not telling people to just, oh, piss on it. I'm just going to go live underneath the ground in a hole. Some people do that and they can survive because they want to live off grid. They don't want to have nothing to do with the government. They don't want any ties to them to come back to them and just have any control over their life. But the educating yourself, the being prepared, the understanding and following what people have been trying to tell us for centuries. These people are coming here to control you. They are coming here to deceive you. All they want to do is just harness the energy that you are putting out there for themselves. People don't believe in a lot of this stuff about adrenochrome and these human feastings and these spirit parties and these, things that people have been coming out and talking about. That is a whole nother show. That is a whole separate thing. But this stuff has been happening for centuries. It's nothing new. This stuff has been going on and it's just been hidden behind closed doors because we see only what's being put in front of us. And somewhere along the lines, the veil has been shifted. Things have come out. Some people have put ripples into the pond, and it has caused an effect where it is people are becoming aware of it because they're looking, they're reading, they're researching, they're digging deeper into this stuff, and they're finding, holy shit, there's something to this. There is more to what we have been taught. There is more to what is being going on. And then it becomes a threat to the people who are there trying to keep it hidden, because you can't no more. A lot of people lose their life. A lot of people have lost their life due to this. But the truth was always going to be made known, because there are always going to be people who are seeking it, who are going to push it out there for people. And as I said when I first started this, I'm not here to sit here and push this agenda to anybody. All I'm saying is, look into it for yourself. It's easy for somebody to say, you know what, the shit you're talking about is just fucking nuts. You're a fucking whack job. It's a conspiracy theory, because that was coined in the 60s during the Vietnam War to make people look stupid, because they were onto things. We knew that JFK was fucking assassinated. It was an inside job. Now we know that. So many things have been done that have been tried to be covered up that make people look fucking stupid. Aliens, UFOs. Oh my God, Roswell was fake. Blah, 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 blah. Let's cover it up. There's no such thing as UFOs. Here we are. It's real. We're not alone in the universe. There's fucking alien life forms that are out there. We're not alone. They live here. They're around us and they're among us. They've lied to us about so many things. What else makes you think that they are not capable of lying about something else? That is why it is important for people to educate themselves, to realize that the truth is not just what they say it is what you find for yourself by doing your own research and connecting the dots with things and saying, okay, this is not what they've told me. This is what they were hiding or they were covering up. Everything that we know has been distorted, corrupted. It has been manipulated in order to keep the people enslaved, period. And that's one thing that I've been passionate about, is trying to just tell people is like, look, you hear me talking about this stuff or putting this stuff out or having you look, people listen to me, or we're sitting down at a table somewhere and I'm talking and people are like, well, what about this? And I'll talk about it and I'll go in deeper. And I'm like, okay, well, look at this information. I'll write it down. You can take a look at it, research it for yourself, point them in a direction to follow this trail. But it's just leading people and planting those seeds to people and letting them know that the things that we believe in are not necessarily what we think they are. They are not. To think for ourselves, to make our own decisions, to make our own rational moves in life and say, okay, I'm not going to believe in that. I'm going to make a different choice based on something that you're telling me that I thought was real is on a lie. Of course, I'm going to let you fill me full of medications with these shots because it's what you said is healthy. Okay, come to find out it's killing everybody. It's making us sick. It's insane. So please, do your due diligence. Look at all the information before you start making judgments based on what these people are telling you or what they're trying to put into your brain and just make you believe. Think for yourself, please. Think. Look at it, research it, and find out the truth for yourself. And if it's not what you want to hear, fine. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to go down that rabbit hole. That's the beauty of having free will, is you can choose to just keep being a sheep led to the slaughter. Or you could turn around and say, I'm not going to fucking do this anymore. I'm done. My eyes are going to be open. But a great man once said, those who are chosen to wear this, to have this vision, to see things for what they really are, to question everything because they're not just going to take it for face value, to research and look into these things for themselves, cannot make another person wear those same glasses and say, here, you're going to put these on and you're going to wear them. You can't do it. They have to make that choice. They have to mentally be on that same frequency. They have to be at that same vibrational level that we are on in order to be able to awaken from this false reality. So by putting the information out there, not everybody's going to jump on board and be like, oh yeah, man, I totally dig it. But those of us and those people who are on those same frequencies and those same vibrations understand, they get it and they resonate with it, and they put it out there and they share it with other people too as well, because they realize it. So that's why I would like to say this, that, everybody needs to do their own due diligence and do their own work and realize this stuff for themselves. You can hear me telling you about it, but once you start looking at it and getting the knowledge for yourself and realizing that I'm not just sitting here talking about this stuff, that it's there and it's out there, and you got to see it for yourself. That is where the rubber meets the road, is because once you go down this hole, it's something that it leads from one thing to another, and it's big. It's big and it's mind opening. And, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been along. it'll be 2 years in December, and I appreciate everybody who has gone down this journey with me and followed me and supported me and spread the word about the podcast. I really appreciate it. I dig it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I just wanted to get on today and put, a little something out there and just, keep in touch with everybody. And I mean, if anybody else is out there that wants to, come onto the podcast or say something or have a conversation, you're more than welcome to hit me up on here, send me a message, shoot me a message on Facebook, X, on Spotify, on YouTube, and just say, hey, I'm here. I just had a question about this, or what are your thoughts on this? Or I disagree with you on this. This is what I believe. That's fine. That's a good thing, because if you can have an open dialogue with people, you don't have to believe each other. We can talk about it, but it doesn't mean that I'm telling you you're wrong and you have to tell me that I'm wrong. I can take the information that you're getting and look into it and say, okay, yeah, man, I see where you're coming from. Right on. But you don't have, this is a place where we're not going to do that. I've had people sit here and they've come on and they've taught, look, bro, like, you're not going to come at me sideways. If you want to talk, we'll talk. But if you're just going to just keep going, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go somewhere else with that, because this is a place for all of us to be able to be civilized and talk and just have an open discussion. So with that, I just want to say thank you. I hope everybody has a good weekend, has a good Friday, has a good night tonight. Wherever you may be, you're probably working, you're probably sleeping, you're probably chilling and resting. You can always rewatch this and relook at these episodes on YouTube, Spotify, X, and Facebook. So I will see you guys later. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys listening to me rant and rave. And remember, always question everything. Do not take anything for face value. Do not be led like sheep. Break away from the group. Stand out and say, I am going to go the other direction. I'm going to make my own choices. So with that, I love you. Much peace, much love, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.